When one thinks of Portugal, it is often the echoes of maritime glory, the golden sunrises over the Atlantic, or the soulful melodies of Fado that rise to mind. But before the poetry, the culture, and the history, there is something more fundamental, something that has shaped every civilization, every journey, and every turning point of the Portuguese people, the land itself. Portugal, positioned at the southwestern edge of the Iberian Peninsula, exists in a place where Europe breathes its last before surrendering to the vastness of the Atlantic Ocean. To the east and north, Portugal shares a border with Spain that winds for over 1,200 kilometers. To the west and south, it meets the Atlantic, an open, eternal horizon that has shaped its identity as a nation of explorers and seafarers. Portugal's geographic placement is not merely a fact of maps. It is a profound influence on its economy, its people, and its historical destiny. Let us begin our journey by understanding the layout of this diverse and often underestimated land. Round Pushpanai. The shape of a nation. Portugal stretches approximately 561 kilometers north to south, and about 218 kilometers east to west at its widest point. While it may appear modest in size, occupying just over 92,000 square kilometers, Portugal's geography is far from uniform. It is a land of contrasts, transitions, and regional personality. From the green, rain-soaked highlands of the north to the dry, sun-drenched plains of the south, Portugal packs a stunning variety of landscapes within its borders. These variations are not arbitrary. They stem from its tectonic origins, climatic influences, and proximity to both mountains and ocean. National Park 2. Mountains, plateaus, and valleys. Portugal's terrain can be divided broadly into two major regions, the north and the south, separated by the Tagus River, or Rio Tejo, as it is known in Portuguese. In the north, the landscape is rugged and mountainous. The Serra da Estrela, Portugal's highest mountain range on the mainland, rises majestically to 1,993 meters at its peak, the Torre. These granite formations, ancient and weathered by time, are a reminder of the region's geologic past. The northern terrain is further shaped by the Penedigueiras Mountains, which cradle the Penedigueiras National Park, Portugal's only national park, a sanctuary of biodiversity, myth, and natural grandeur. Here in the north, you'll also find fast-flowing rivers cutting through deep valleys. The Douro River, originating in Spain, carves its way westward, creating steep slopes where vineyards cling to the earth, the birthplace of the world-renowned port wine. The valleys here are narrow, and the terrain favors terraced agriculture, a practice as old as Portugal itself. Crossing the Tagus River is like entering another country entirely. The land begins to flatten. The mountains recede, and the Alentejo, a vast rolling plain, unfolds like an endless canvas of cork oaks, olive groves, and golden wheat fields. The transition is not just geographical, it is sensory. The air grows drier. The sun seems brighter. The rhythm of life slows. Farther south lies the Algarve, where low-lying hills roll into a coastline sculpted by time. The Algarve is famed for its limestone cliffs, sea caves, and serene coves. These geological features are more than postcard attractions. They are the result of karstic erosion, where water has worn away the soft rock over millennia. Beyond the mainland lie the Azores and Madeira, two autonomous regions that extend Portugal's reach far into the Atlantic. These volcanic archipelagos are worlds of their own, lush, dramatic, and isolated. The Azores, in particular, sit atop the mid-Atlantic ridge, a tectonic hotspot, making them seismically active and rich in geothermal phenomena. National Park 3. Rivers, lifelines of Portugal. Portugal's rivers are more than just features of its landscape. They are historical lifelines, navigational highways, and agricultural foundations. The Tagus River is the longest river on the Iberian Peninsula, stretching over 1,000 kilometers, though only about 275 kilometers lie within Portuguese borders. It divides the country into two distinct ecological and cultural zones. As it approaches Lisbon, it widens dramatically into an estuary, offering a natural harbor that has sustained the city's growth for centuries. The Douro, as mentioned, winds through the mountainous north and is harnessed by a series of dams, both for hydroelectric power and navigation. It also sustains the famed Douro Valley wine region, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The Guadiana River, forming part of the border with Spain, runs through the arid southeastern interior and into the Algarve, providing critical water resources for irrigation. The Mondego, Portugal's longest river entirely within the country, nourishes the fertile lands around Coimbra, one of Portugal's oldest and most historic cities. These rivers are not just physical features, they have shaped human settlement, agriculture, and trade since antiquity. Globe showing Europe-Africa 4. Climate, the breadth of the land. Portugal's climate is Mediterranean at its core, but that definition barely captures its complexity. In the northwest, particularly in Minho and the Douro littoral, the climate is classified as oceanic, with mild temperatures and high rainfall. This results in the lush, green landscapes of northern Portugal, where moss carpet stones and hydrangeas bloom in vivid colors. Moving southward, the influence of the Atlantic lessens, and the climate becomes more typically Mediterranean, hot, dry summers and mild, wet winters. In places like Lisbon, Setúbal, and the Alentejo, summer temperatures regularly soar above 35 degrees Celsius (95 degrees Fahrenheit), and rain becomes scarce from June through September. The Alentejo, in particular, can experience semi-arid conditions, with long periods of drought punctuated by sudden, heavy rains. The Algarve, sheltered by mountain ranges to the north, enjoys one of the most stable and sunny climates in all of Europe, making it a year-round tourist destination. The Azores and Madeira present entirely different microclimates. The Azores are humid, cloud-covered, and often rainy, while Madeira, known as the island of eternal spring, enjoys mild temperatures year-round thanks to the moderating effect of the surrounding Atlantic. These climate zones create diverse ecosystems, ranging from high-altitude conifer forests to coastal wetlands and Mediterranean scrublands. Seedling v. Natural resources and land use. Portugal is not rich in fossil fuels or large mineral reserves, but it makes up for this with renewable energy potential, agriculture, and forestry. The Alentejo and Ribatejo regions are the heartlands of agriculture, where crops like cereals, olives, and grapes are grown in vast quantities. Portugal is the world's largest producer of cork, sourced primarily from the cork oak forests of the Alentejo. These forests are not only economically vital but also ecologically rich, providing habitat for species like the Iberian lynx and imperial eagle. Fishing remains important, especially along the coastal towns of the Algarve and the central Atlantic coast. The Portuguese sardine industry, deeply ingrained in national identity, continues to be a cultural and economic touchstone. Portugal is also a leader in renewable energy, utilizing wind, hydro, and solar power to a degree unmatched by most European nations. The rugged terrain, flowing rivers, and abundant sunlight make the geography especially suited to sustainable energy. Houses 6. Regions and cultural landscapes. Portugal's geography has given rise to distinct regional identities, shaped by terrain, climate, and historical development. Northern Portugal is mountainous and traditional, where villages cling to hillsides and Romanesque churches still stand watch. This is the land of port wine, granite homes, and Celtic traces. The center of Portugal, stretching from the coast inland to the mountains, is where geography meets intellectual history. Coimbra, nestled along the Mondego, was once the capital and is home to one of the world's oldest universities. The Lisbon region sits at the geographic and political heart of the country, with the Tagus estuary serving as the key to its maritime power. The city's topography of 7 hills, sweeping views, and proximity to the ocean define its charm and strategic importance. The Alentejo, as flat as it is vast, has a rhythm dictated by the land itself. Here, agriculture dominates, and life flows slowly under the intense sun. The Algarve, while heavily developed for tourism, retains areas of stunning natural beauty. The Ria Formosa Lagoon, a protected coastal wetland, supports countless species of birds and marine life. The Azores and Madeira, though remote, are increasingly recognized for their ecological importance and touristic appeal. The Azores, with their volcanic calderas, crater lakes, and lush green pastures, are among the most geologically fascinating places on Earth. Compass 7. A geography that shapes destiny. Portugal's geography is not passive. It has shaped and directed the course of its history. The accessibility of the Atlantic coastline made Lisbon and Porto ideal ports for the age of exploration. The mountainous interior offered refuge during invasions and formed natural barriers that fostered cultural diversity. The rivers served not only as trade routes but as borders, battlegrounds, and lifelines. And yet, the geography of Portugal is also deeply personal. It is in the waves that crash against the cliffs of Nazaré. It is in the olive groves that stretch across the Alentejo. It is in the fog-covered peaks of the Azores and the sunlit terraces of the Douro. It is a land of contours and contrasts, where nature has written its own version of the Portuguese story. From highland peaks to ocean tides, Portugal's geography is not just a backdrop, it is a living, breathing force in the narrative of its people. In the next scene, we journey through the earliest human settlements of this land, tracing the roots of Portuguese civilization from prehistoric caves to ancient Iberian tribes.